Hello and welcome. Bo Derrick's radiant beauty and willingness to appear unclothed in many of her earlier films have helped sustain her career over more than 40 years. Ironically, those same attributes have also limited her opportunities and drawn scathing criticism from many critics. Bo, born Mary Cathleen Collins, won international attention in a memorably eye-catching dream sequence opposite Dudley Moore in the film 10, as she loped along a beach wearing a skimpy, flesh-coloured swimsuit. Then, in quick succession, her husband, actor and director John Derrick, ensured she was cast in a series of films where it seemed her primary role was to appear as scantily clad as the censors would allow. Not that many complained. John Derrick had had a long career as an actor. His credits included The Ten Commandments, but he became Bo's Svengali. They'd met when she was 16 and he was 42 and remained together until he died in 1998, aged 71. Bo has gone on to appear in more than 40 film and television projects. In the mid-80s, she starred in a movie called Bolero, directed by John, which was, as usual, mauled by critics and which led to lengthy legal imbroglios with the production company. Bo got further involved in animal activism and politics while trying as a producer to get movie productions up and running. I spoke to her at the Cannes Film Festival back in 1986 when she was seeking possible financiers and distributors for projects, and asked how she felt about industry and public reactions to her.
I think talking to the buyers and the people who buy a project and then have to sell it to their audience are more in touch than, say, studio executives back home who it's very removed from the audience. I think
absolutely.
really back there, living back there. So I think this is, if you come in and you start feeling, a type of thing that they want, I think this is what you should listen and be open to it.
Have you been here before?
No, never. Never. And never thought I would. This is always one of those places that we would never go to. But we're enjoying it. I think if I were here, just sitting in my room doing press to open something, that would be different for me. But to be here, we're putting together the financing and distribution for our picture. We're meeting a lot of nice people, and we're meeting a lot of the industry people that we like, that turns out we like very much, because I think a more rebellious or maverick or independent type of filmmaker comes here than we find at home.
Sitting around the studios?
Yeah.
Taking meetings?
Yeah, that's a different... Taking meetings and doing meetings, not having meetings.
Right.
Taking meetings and doing meetings, and taking lunch and doing lunch. God.
So let's go back just over the last 18 months or so. What films have you done in that period?
None.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
So what is the last thing that we would have...
Bolero.
Bolero was the last one, which of course you shot in Spain.
Mm-hmm. And it took us a long time to recover from an experience with Canon like that. And then being independent as we are, not having an entourage of business managers and agents, it leaves you open to not being able to check out people and being shielded from a lot of people you shouldn't get involved with. So we had a lot of that. One's in prison actually, getting involved with some bad people, and just it takes a while to shake off an experience like that. And finally we came around and realized we were just wasting a lot of time fighting something that was, in the end, when we won, there would be nothing anyway. So we finally realized what we were doing and got back to work.
So was it a learning experience for you?
Oh, certainly. So I think of course, that's what's nice about being a human being, I guess. Things are just miserable, completely miserable while you're going through them, but you can always look back and make it a good experience.
And maybe even laugh.
Yeah, and laugh. You can. Oh, certainly you can laugh. And it's usually the most miserable, hideous things that are the funniest in the end. So.
But was it that because of that experience that you didn't do, indeed, somebody else's film? I mean, as one of an
yeah, well,
ensemble
once you decide to pick up the lance and fight, together as we did, you become consumed with it, unfortunately. But it was good.
Are you saying that the battle involving Bolero and Canada has continued virtually up until now?
Yeah, until last year. They were suing us for $200 million, which was just insanity. That was just that we couldn't collect our profits from the film. It was just silly. And we were battling for the injustices that had been done to us. And it's all stupid, but it takes a long time. Nobody can tell you it's stupid. You just have to wake up one morning. It was John who woke up, he's the one that normally, fights to the death. He's the one that realized what we were doing, and it took me a while to come around.
But in that time, surely there must have been opportunities for you to go and do another film. With a studio. Or...
Oh yeah, no, I have those opportunities now, but that's not. I'm very lucky now. I'm having my cake and eating it too. My relationship is the most important, and enjoying and feeling very proud of what I do. Certainly, that's going to come from making the pictures myself. So I am very, very lucky to be in that position, that we can come here and put together a film. And so as long as I can, I certainly will. And whether I would ever go to work for a studio just as an actress, I don't know if I ever would. It all depends.
Because you're rather a phenomenon, I think, because you haven't really ever had a major lead in a major film, and yet you're a bigger star. So judged by the media.
It's strange
around the world, isn't it?
It's very strange. And then to be away, by the time this picture, the new one we're making, would come out, it would be at least 4 years. Here it's been 3.5 years now since Bolero, and you wouldn't think I would come here and have so much trouble as I'm having.
You mean with
the public and
media?
It's very strange. It is a very unusual situation. Very unusual.
How do you regard it then? Do you...
It's just one of those things.
John.
Okay. Yes, we were talking about the celebrity status, I suppose.
Yes.
And you were saying about...
It's a phenomenon because first, just whatever Bo is, it happened without the press to begin with. That's very unusual. It just happened with a couple of commercials on television in the States. And the picture was instantly, they were staying on the line the first night. So in the press, because I had a problem with Orion Pictures, we weren't speaking to each other, there was no press on Bo before the film opened. So it was very strange, and still is very strange. But I'm just trying to enjoy it, and I guess you take more chances when you do what I'm doing, but I'm certainly feeling better about what I do, and I enjoy the picture business a lot. I enjoy making films.
And you're talking about being a producer as well as...
Yeah, I really like films, and while you're making them and finishing them. The other I don't like too much, and certainly it'd be more fun if I didn't have to be in them. But it all works out, and I am having a good time.
Do you think, watching the press over the years, they've been not the kindest of treatment of you and John?
That's putting it mildly.
But has it hurt you at all?
No, it hasn't. I think when I walked down the street, if I felt that the public was believing it, and I was being prejudged by what the press said from the public, then it would be very hard to live. But they're not buying it. As hard as the press have tried, they're not buying it because they'd be throwing stones if they believed it, and they obviously don't. I think television has a lot to do with it. I think television, at least, even with clever editing, you still pretty much come across as, whether they like you or they don't like you, as who you are, good or bad.
How do you interpret the perception that the press has tried to, or has arrived at, of you? How do you see it yourself?
I don't know, and the things I do feel I wouldn't talk about. It was a very strange phenomenon. I know I've come across sometimes when the press wants me to do something, I'll say no, thank you, and they start screaming at me, "You must do it for us. We made you. You owe it to us." And in my case, just by a freak accident, I don't owe it to them. I am as courteous as anybody will be with the press. I don't have a press agent. I don't have a anybody shielding me from the press. All around the world they have my phone number. We haven't changed our phone number in 7 years. So they call and they get my sister and myself on the phone, and if someone's straight, I'm very obliging, and not because I want it for myself, but because they're very nice on the phone. Then they stab you in the back afterwards sometimes. But I do try to keep a list, either at home or in my head. If somebody has burned us, if I remember, I won't speak to them again. It's silly. They're shocked. They say, just doing our job. And
you're saying that it really hasn't hurt you. deep down, if that's what the phrase is.
No, because
on a personal level.
No, if people I cared about were believing it and things like that, or the public, it would be very difficult to walk in a store and buy something if the public, if you feel that you're a monster, that they believe you're a monster. But it hasn't affected them, and certainly they've done their best to destroy the films we've made, but they've all been successful. So something is prevailing. It's just it's a nuisance. It's a thorn in your side, and it's not pleasant. But that's all part of it. We're not the only ones they do that to.
Oh, certainly not. No. But in acting terms, and purely in acting terms, do you think that if you look back, say 5 or 6 years ago, that perhaps somewhere along the line you got distracted away from being able to work harder as an actress and be recognised more as an actress, and less so as a celebrity? No, but
it's a strange thing. You can take an attractive woman who can do a lot. It's just as Marilyn Monroe was never. A lot of these. Rita Hayworth, we're talking about her. She was never acclaimed as an actress, but it's just as difficult or more difficult for them to be entertaining in a very light, upbeat way than to cry and slobber and scream and yell. I personally would find it easier to scream and yell. So I think it's a big problem in what is judged as in acting. I think there's to be. You look at Alec Guinness. His greatest things were just light, simple things. And to be entertaining doing that is the most difficult, I think. And not that I would put myself in a league with any of those people, but it doesn't. I don't feel that choosing a role with high drama or high dramatics would make you a better actor or actress than a light comedy.
No, I don't think so. In fact, I think probably to do a light comedy and make it work
is more difficult. What Cary Grant did is so difficult, so difficult. And but no, this is the entertainment business. There are all different facets and little offshoots of it, and I don't like performing enough to want to be. No, I don't enjoy it.
Did you set out to be an actress?
No. I was having a nice time on the beach growing up, not thinking about what my future would be. I met an agent by accident when I was 16, I guess, who thought that I should be something. And when you're 16, you don't know. I didn't know what I wanted to be, and I'm certainly not going to say no. And so I ran around on some interviews, and things just happened. But it's not in my heart to perform and to be adored by the public that way for my performance.
What did you want to do when you were 16? What were you thinking of doing?
I don't know. Oceanographer. I love the ocean. I always wanted to work with dolphins and things like that. That's what I wanted to do.
Would you ever go back to that?
I can have it now. Without going to school, without doing anything. What has happened in my life is a credit card to the world. Right now, because in our next picture we have something with dolphins. I can go back and work 60 weeks with dolphins. It's just anything you want in life. I was just getting into horses, and then we do Bolero, and I'm riding the most fabulous horses in the world. And I wouldn't change anything that's happened. And I wouldn't change the difficulties and the problems either, because I think it's probably self-defense in your own mind. There are good experiences for you. You tend to say that. Who knows if you'd be happier if they had never happened. But I think in self-defense we justify them, that they're good experiences for us, and you do grow.
But what about, because you aren't sort of on that roller coaster, if you like, what about a family and having kids and so on? Is that something that now you think about?
Oh, so I did always. I always thought, well, in a few years maybe, but a few years has happened twice since I started saying that. Almost 3 times. I guess 3 times it's happened. And then in the Stephen Paul's office, there's the most beautiful baby that I look at every day, and this is getting to me. And so I was saying that after this picture, maybe if things are right, it'd be nice to have a baby. Because you should start thinking about those things by the time you're 30, at least.
How old are you now?
30.
39. Oh, you've got a while.
Oh, I do have a while, but at 20, I thought I had a long time till 30, and it's already gone.
How does John feel about that? Is he keen to have Have a child?
He's never been that keen to have children, but he would like for me to have a child, and he would like it too. He doesn't say so, but I know he would. He's fabulous with children, and he would like it very much, but I feel very strongly that it should be done if you have the time.
Bo Derek is 65 now and still involved in film and television. Her most recent feature films were the telemovie The Last Sharknado, It's About Time, The Christmas Trap, and 5 Weddings.